The hits just keep on coming in the healthcare arena. Now the Senate Finance Committee has passed an amendment allowing insurance companies to charge Americans more if they smoke, overeat, or engage in other so-called unhealthy behavior. Now that's a tremendous intrusion on personal freedom, but some believe healthy people shouldn't be paying the medical bills for unhealthy people. Therein lies the debate. With us now, Mimi Roth, president of the National Action Against Obesity organization, and from D.C., Amanda Carpenter, reporter of the Washington Times, has been following the legislation. So I understand now that health insurance companies can offer a 20% discount if you don't smoke and you're, I guess, within a certain weight range. And the Senate Finance Committee wants to bump that up to 50%, which basically is a way of saying that if you're chubby and you smoke, you got to pay 50% more for your health insurance, right?
Well, what the amendment does is it bumps it up to 30%, and then secretaries of Labor, Health and Human Services, and Treasury can take that up to 50% if they decide to sign off on it. And supporters of the amendment say this is a good way to incentivize people to take healthy actions, and of course opponents think that this amounts to a penalty. So what this really hinges on is whether it's a discount or it's a penalty, and that's where the friction is on this. But it did pass the committee 18-4, so people like it.
Right, it's very subtle. It is a penalty, there's no doubt, because you're excluding people from buying health insurance who do things the government doesn't like. However, those things do add to the enormous medical costs that we have in this country, and it is the government's responsibility to get that under control, Amanda. So it is an intrusion, and it isn't really, it is a penalty, infringing on freedom, because if you want to be chubby, you should have a right to be chubby. If you want to smoke, in this country it's not illegal to smoke. But so I see both sides of the story. I'm not being a weasel here. I'm not equivocating. I'm trying to figure out which is best for the country, personal freedom or lowering medical costs. Now, where do you come down on it, Amanda?
Well, I think we already have something that is in action on this that's similar to car insurance. For example, if I get in a lot of car wrecks, I'm going to pay a higher rate of insurance than you do if you have a safe driving record.
Then you're actively doing something. You're actively doing something. You're getting in car wrecks. But the person eating a Big Mac every day who's a little chubby isn't really actively doing anything to hurt anybody else. So, he doesn't run up the cost, maybe ever, if he has his own health insurance. So it's, I don't know. What do you think, Mimi?
Well,
I mean, I know what you think. Wait a minute, I'll come back, Amanda. I know what you think. Okay. You want to encourage in any punitive measures against chubby people or smokers, you're for, correct?
Well, no, look, there's an obesity bailout on, and I don't think the rest of us should have to pay for it.
What's an obesity bailout?
We've got employers picking up $45 billion annually in the cost of obesity. The cost of cancer is $200 billion annually. A third of the most common cancers are now driven by obesity. $174 billion annually for diabetes. Someone has to pay for this. Obesity is not an innate state. It is a result of lifestyle choices.
Should it be against the law to be obese?
It should be against the law to be eating unhealthfully and then making other people pick up the tab.
Should it be against the law to eat bad food?
No, it is your right to live a do not resuscitate lifestyle, but it is not your right to expect heroic measures in the end.
But
and right now, we expect everyone to pay.
Listen, I know people, Amanda, who are zoftig, or they're big boned, or whatever it may be, and they're very healthy.
No, they're not.
Well, they are.
Talk to their pancreas. Talk to their knees.
Talk to their pancreas?
Do you know?
I've talked to a few in my time, okay?
Let me tell you something
I know people who are big, who are in perfect health, and they live a life that doesn't infringe on me or anybody else.
That's like saying someone with a black lung is healthy. It's just not true. Do you know?
You can smoke your whole life and not get cancer.
That's an exception.
Emphysema.
No, you will get emphysema. Let me tell you something about obesity.
I know people haven't. But Amanda, I want back to you because you haven't given me a definite opinion on where you come down on this thing. Where do you come down on it?
I mean, well, when it becomes a liberty issue, I'm not sure how free we are when we're dependent on our employers to be provided health care. I mean, that's where it really gets in the mix, because they have to. Right. Well, if we had a different system where you could buy it for yourself and it could be portable,
you can buy it for yourself.
Then you can decide
if you have the money. But
health insurance is not an entitlement.
Hold it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, Yeah, well, when the employer gets involved in it, they have to find a way to pool the risk and incentivize people to do the right thing. Whereas if I were just buying it on my own, then I could check the box and get the rate and shop that around.
No, but that's not the way it is. Because if you were buying it on your own, the government is saying to the insurance company, you can give up to 50% off for somebody like Mimi, who's not obese and doesn't smoke, but you can't for somebody who's, at the Jet game with a Winston and 5 beers. So it's an infringement. I understand the message. I understand why the government's doing it. Very interesting. Freedom versus the greater good for society. Ladies, good debate. Thanks very much.